Hello, my friend. Let me ask you something very honest today. When you speak English, do you ever feel like your mouth is moving in slow motion? You know what you want to say. The idea is clear in your mind, but by the time the words come out, the moment has already passed. The conversation moved forward. The other person is already waiting. And you feel that familiar frustration rising inside you. Not because you do not know English, but because you cannot get it out fast enough. This is one of the most painful feelings in language learning. And it is also one of the least talked about. Most English teachers focus on vocabulary and grammar. Most apps focus on reading and listening. But almost nobody talks about the speed, about how to train your English to come out faster, more naturally, more automatically. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. Because speaking faster does not mean rushing. It does not mean losing your accent or pretending to be someone you are not. It means training your brain and your mouth to work together so smoothly that the English flows out without stopping, without hesitating, without that long, painful silence in the middle of a sentence. And it is something every single English learner can develop at any age, at any level, starting right now. By the end of this episode, you will understand exactly why your English feels slow, what is actually happening in your brain when you hesitate, and 4 specific things you can do to build natural speaking speed without losing 1 drop of confidence. Stay with me, because this one is going to change the way you speak. Let me describe a feeling I think you know very well. You are in a conversation. Someone asks you a question, simple question, something like, what do you think about this idea? Or how was your weekend? Or what is your opinion on this? And inside your head, everything is moving. You have thoughts, real thoughts, interesting thoughts. The ideas are there. But then something happens between your brain and your mouth. A delay, a gap, that small but terrible moment where the English is not coming and the silence is growing and you can feel the other person waiting, and the more you feel them waiting, the harder it becomes to speak. And then finally the words come out. Slowly, carefully, a little broken, not how you imagine them inside your head. And after the conversation, you think to yourself, I knew what I wanted to say. Why could I not say it? That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is not a sign that you are bad at English. That feeling is a sign that your speaking speed has not caught up with your thinking speed yet. And that gap, the gap between how fast you think and how fast you speak, that is exactly what we are going to close today. I want to tell you about someone. His name is Omar. Omar is 27 years old. He works in a technology company. His written English is excellent. He sends professional emails every day. He understands English meetings well. He can follow conversations without much difficulty. But when it is his turn to speak, everything changes. His sentences come out slowly. He pauses in the middle. He says and many times. He loses the end of his sentence while he is still building the beginning. And by the time he finishes speaking, he feels exhausted, like he just ran a race. His colleagues are patient with him. Nobody is rude, but Omar can feel the difference between how he sounds and how he wants to sound. And that difference bothers him deeply every single day. One evening, Omar was watching an interview with a man he admired, a business leader who had learned English as a second language, but spoke with a remarkable ease and speed. Not perfect grammar every time, but fast, natural, confident. Omar watched that interview 3 times. And each time he asked himself the same question. How does he do that? How does the English just come out like that? So Omar started researching, and what he found surprised him completely. The man in the interview had not always spoken that way. In old footage from 10 years earlier, his English was slow, careful, full of pauses, not so different from how Omar sounded today. What had changed? Omar kept reading, and he found the answer in something very simple. The man had trained his mouth the same way an athlete trains their body, not by thinking more, by doing more, repeatedly, daily, until the movement became automatic. Omar decided to do the same thing, not in a complicated way, in the simplest way possible. He picked 3 sentences used almost every day at work. Sentences like, I think we should consider this option, or let me share my thoughts on that, or I agree with your point, but I want to add something. And every morning, he repeated those sentences out loud 10 times, faster than felt comfortable, faster than felt natural. It felt strange at first, almost silly. But after 2 weeks, something shifted. Those 3 sentences started coming out of his mouth in real meetings without him thinking about them. They arrived automatically, confidently, at normal speed. So he added 3 more sentences, then 3 more. After 3 months, Omar's colleagues started noticing something different about him in meetings. He was contributing more. His ideas were coming out clearer. The pauses were shorter. Omar had not learned new vocabulary. He had not studied new grammar. He had simply trained his mouth to move faster on the sentences that mattered most to him. And that changed everything. Now let me explain what was actually happening in Omar's brain. Because when you understand this, the path forward becomes very clear. When you learn a new sentence or a new phrase in English, it starts in a part of your brain that requires conscious thought. You have to think about it deliberately. Choose each word carefully. Check the grammar. View the sentence piece by piece. This is slow. This is the slow English most learners are stuck in. But when you repeat something enough times, something remarkable happens. The brain moves that sentence or phrase from the conscious thinking area to a different area, the automatic area, the place where your native language already lives. When something lives in the automatic area, it comes out without thinking, without building, without checking. It just arrives, fast, ready, natural. This is called automaticity. And it is the real secret behind speaking speed. Fluent speakers are not smarter than you. They are not thinking faster than you. They have simply repeated enough English often enough that most of what they say lives in the automatic area. Their everyday sentences, their typical responses. They do not build these in real time. They retrieve them. Like taking something off a shelf instead of making it from scratch every single time. And you can build that same shelf deliberately, strategically, starting today. Let me give you 4 specific things you can do to build your speaking speed. Each one works on a different part of the problem. Together, they create a complete system. The first thing is called sentence drilling. This is what Omar did. You choose 10 to 15 sentences that you use often in your real life. At work, at home, with friends, in shops, wherever you spend your time. Write them down. Then say them out loud every morning, not slowly and carefully. Faster than feels natural. Repeat each one 5 to 10 times. You are not practicing what to say. You are practicing how fast you can say it. You are pushing the sentence into the automatic area of your brain through repetition and speed. After 2 weeks of daily drilling, those sentences will start coming out of your mouth in real situations without you thinking about them. And that automatic arrival of words is exactly what speaking confidence feels like from the outside. Start with sentences from your own life. the more personally relevant they are, the faster your brain will store them. The second thing is called speed reading out loud. Find any English text, a paragraph from an article, a page from a book, a short news story. It does not need to be complicated. Simple English works perfectly for this. Read it out loud, then read it again, little faster, then again faster still. Push yourself past your comfortable speed. You will make mistakes. You will stumble over words. That is fine. Keep going. What you are training is the connection between your eyes, your brain, and your mouth. You are teaching that system to move faster. And that faster movement transfers directly to your natural speaking speed over time. Do this for 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes. And within a month, you will notice your mouth moving more confidently in real conversations. The third thing is called filler phrase replacement. Every time you hesitate in English, you probably say or or you go silent. These fillers and silences make your speech sound slower and less confident than it actually is. Native speakers and fluent non-native speakers do not avoid hesitation. They fill it differently. They use short bridge phrases that keep the sentence moving while their brain catches up. Phrases like, "That is a good question. Let me think about that for a moment. What I mean to say is the way I see it. And actually, now that I think about it." These phrases do two things at the same time. They give your brain a few extra seconds to find the next words, and they make you sound thoughtful and natural rather than stuck and silent. Practice these phrases until they feel completely automatic. Add them to your daily sentence drilling. Because the moment you stop saying and start saying that is a good question, your entire speaking presence changes instantly. The fourth thing is called the fast retell. This is one of the most powerful fluency exercises that exists, and almost nobody talks about it. After you watch a video, read an article, finish a meeting, or have a conversation, take 2 minutes immediately afterward and retell what happened in English, out loud, as fast as you can, without stopping to find perfect words, without worrying about grammar. Just speak, fast, keep moving. If you forget a word, describe it another way. If a sentence breaks in the middle, start a new one. The goal is continuous forward movement in English. This exercise trains your brain to retrieve English quickly under mild pressure. And that quick retrieval under mild pressure is exactly what real conversations demand. Do a fast retell after every video you watch, after every meeting, after every podcast you listen to. Make it a daily automatic habit. And watch what happens to your speaking speed over the next 60 days. I want to say something important before we go further. Some people hear the idea of speaking faster and they feel worried. They think, if I speak faster, I will make more mistakes. My grammar will get worse. People will understand me less. I will lose control of my English. And I understand that worry completely. It makes sense on the surface. But here is the truth. The mistakes you make when you speak fast are different from the mistakes you make when you speak slowly. When you speak slowly, the mistakes come from overthinking, from checking every word, from losing the thread of your sentence while you are still building it. When you train yourself to speak faster, you stop overthinking, you start trusting. And trust is what fluency feels like. Yes, you will make some grammar mistakes when you speak with more speed and flow. But here is something very important to understand. In real conversations, people do not listen for your grammar. They listen for your meaning. They listen for your confidence. They listen for whether you are engaged and present and communicating clearly. A person who speaks a little fast with occasional small mistakes sounds far more fluent and capable than a person who speaks very slowly and carefully with perfect grammar, but long, painful silences between every sentence. Speed carries confidence, and confidence carries communication. You do not need to be perfect. You need to keep moving. Let me show you something. Imagine 90 days from now, every morning you drill your 10 most important sentences until they feel completely automatic. Every day you read one paragraph out loud 3 times, each time faster than the last. Every time you hesitate, you use a bridge phrase instead of silence. After every video and meeting, you do a fast 2-minute retell. After 90 days of this, what changes? Your sentences start arriving before you consciously send them. The gap between thinking and speaking, that painful gap you know so well, gets shorter, then shorter again. In conversations, you stop monitoring yourself so much. You stop worrying about each word before it comes out. You start trusting that the English will arrive. And because you trust it, it does. People around you start responding to you differently. They lean in more. They engage more. They ask your opinion more. Not because your grammar is suddenly perfect, but because you sound like someone who knows what they are saying and is not afraid to say it. And that feeling, the feeling of English coming out of you freely and naturally and at full speed, that feeling is one of the most liberating things a language learner ever experiences. It is waiting for you 90 days away if you start today. Before I go, I want to leave you with one simple truth. Your English is not slow because you're not smart enough. Your English is not slow because the language is too difficult. Your English is slow because your mouth has not yet practiced moving at the speed your brain is capable of. That is the only reason, and it is the most fixable reason in the world. So tonight, write down 3 sentences you say often in English. Say each one out loud 10 times, as fast as you can. That is your starting point. Tomorrow morning, do it again. And the morning after that, 1 sentence at a time, your mouth will learn to keep up with your mind. And when that happens, the real you, the one with ideas and opinions and stories and humor, that person will finally be able to show up fully in English. Not slower than you think, exactly as fast. Thank you for listening to Pure English Podcast. If this episode helped you understand something new about your own speaking, share it with someone who always says their English is too slow. Because now they know what to do about it. I will see you in the next episode.